This video will cover how to run Deckhand in its active fishing phase. After you've entered all of the applicable details in the Start Trip screen from a previous video, tap Continue. After you've tapped Continue, Deckhand will bring you to a map screen. The map screen shows the GPS location of the vessel in real time. On the map screen, you'll notice a few things. On the left-hand side, here is the events list. The events list will populate with tows as you make them and accrue them during the trip. It also contains what we call the trip header up here, which, if you tap Update, will take you back to the screen where you entered your vessel name, permit information, observer information, etc. You can update this at any time. Also, on the trip header is the Report button. The Report button shows what resembles the old DFL in paper version, and we'll revisit this later on when we've entered a bit more data. For now, we'll just tap Close. Also, on the active fishing screen, you'll notice this button down here, which we call the Actions menu. At any time to access the Actions menu, tap on the chevron button here, and this is where you'll access your discards or end your trip by tapping End Logbook. For now, let's begin a tow. Tap Deploy Gear on the bottom right-hand side. You'll tap Deploy Gear when the trawl net enters the water, per regulation and instructions for trawl logbooks. The haul number will begin at haul number 1 and will increase automatically by 1 across all tows and trips. The start haul date and time and the position are automatically filled out here. The position is populated the moment you tap the Deploy Gear button. So you can leave Deckhand on this screen if you have to walk away for whatever reason. It's not going to compromise your start haul position because it has already been recorded. Enter your average sea depth, same as you did on the paper logbook, and select your unit of measure. Enter your average gear depth, and also again enter the unit of measure. Then tap Continue. You'll notice a start pin has been dropped where the trawl net first went in the water when you tapped Deploy Gear. At this point, you'll leave Deckhand here as you tow. When it's time to bring the gear on board, when you begin hauling your gear cables, you'll tap Gear on Board. The end haul date and time and position is recorded when you tap Gear on Board. And here is where you'll fill out target species. For the sake of brevity, I'll just fill out a random species from near the top of the list here. You can search for species by code or by their name by entering a cursor in the search bar here. And as you type, it'll filter and you can quickly find the species or the species code. Enter your total hail weight. Select the unit. The unit is remembered from the previous session, so you only have to select this the first time, but be sure to pay attention to it in case for some reason your units had to change. Next, select yes or no if you moved during the tow to avoid bycatch. If you do select yes, a dialog will appear indicating that you are attesting to have moved this vessel prior to hauling, primarily to avoid encountering Chinook salmon bycatch. If you mistakenly selected yes, you can hit no and the selection will stay on no. But if you did move to avoid Chinook bycatch, definitely tap yes and it'll retain that selection here. And when you're done filling out details on this screen, tap End Trawl. I'm stationary during the production of this video, so you can't see the vessel's movement here very well. But you will notice that in a real-world situation, there will be a track line behind the boat with a start pin that is farther away, of course, from the end pin, the distance between the two and the path between the two denoting the path of your tow. From here, you can make another tow and record another tow by hitting Deploy Gear again in this screen. If, however, you're ready to enter a discards report, you can tap the chevron button, select Discards, Dispositions, and this brings us to the Discards Dispositions screen. To add your first species for a discard report, tap the Add Discard at the top and pick a species. For this demo, we'll just choose Aleutian skates. Notice that Deckhand autofills the date, as recall that discards are filled out and logged by the day and not by the tow. The date is populated as well as the time when you first logged the report, and you'll select a product code. These are preloaded and are the same lists that you're used to referring to on the paper logbook. Select your unit. Again, unit is remembered, so you only have to do it the first time. And then notice that Deckhand locks the balance forward and cumulative fields because it automatically calculates those for you. All you have to do is enter your daily totals on an ongoing basis. This comprises our first Aleutian Skates discard report, and it's a wash, rinse, repeat process from here on out, where if I want to add a second species, I just scroll up and tap the Add Discard Species bar again here at the top. You can do this as many times as you need. We'll tap Complete for now. We're back to the screen where we can deploy gear for another tow, or notice that in the events list, our discard report is now here, and we can pop back into it at any time by tapping the Update button. Let's tap Update and see what we find in the discard report. We see that an entry for June 2nd for Aleutian Skates. If you need to add more to this discard report for this species, simply tap it to expand it, and then you can add the total number of poundage. You can see that Deckhand now updates the cumulative, and the balance forward is still 0 because this is theoretically day 1 of the trip. Tap Confirm. On June 3rd, or on day 2 of your trip, you will need to go re-enter the species that you had previously entered for day 1 to follow the regulation and log the discard report for those species on subsequent days. Notice, though, when you do so, that Deckhand will begin calculating the balance forward in those instances. This is the gist of the active fishing phase of Deckhand. We will get into doing a delivery report and printing off your report in a subsequent video.